Good morning and welcome everyone to West Salem Redevelopment Advisory Board meeting. Today is April 1st. And we're going to start with roll call.
Ashley
Present.
Zachary Fisher here. Don Frank, President. Thomas Baker here. Nicholas Alford, President and Sven Wells.
Here.
Greg Sharn, President of Moment. David Rice. Yeah, others great.
Sorry.
Welcome, Greg.
Agenda.
I would keep it up. Check that out to that.
Moving. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. And we want to do approval of the March 1 meeting minutes.
So
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
On to public comment.
So we have staff, and staff from urban development, and then Derek and Ben. So welcome. So they're not public comment, but I don't know where Barney, do you have anything in public comment? You're just okay.
No, I'm just here.
Okay.
Hear what's going on. Thank you.
All right, so now action items. And starting off with
Brian is also the public works staff member. Yeah. Brian for the presentation.
Okay, I have a fact sheet on. You guys have this was okay, I got some extras here if you want to take one of them. Yeah, it's a fact sheet. You can get a QR code there if you want to use that. It will take you directly to the product website. It's got good information on it. See, okay, there we go. Yeah, so I'm Brian Minnesota. I'm the project manager with the Public Works Department of the city. So I'm here to talk about the Pringle Creek Path Connection project. Today I'm planning on just kind of presenting the overall project. Are most of you kind of familiar with the project? Have you heard much of it at this point? Yes. Information start with the trickle out. So yeah, you can go ahead and go to the next one.
Last meeting, when we were did a great job sharing information.
Yeah, every meeting I've gone to so far, she's been there, so I don't need to show up at these anymore.
This is great. Oh, no.
Just take over the home. But yeah, so I'm just gonna hit the general background of the project, the scope, schedule, budget. And then I have a couple of design alternatives I want to share with you all. We're at the 30% concept plans point. And so we're going to have an open house on the two different design alternatives that we have, and we're going to seek public input for that. So very good point there. So I'll share those with you today, and then April 15th will be our open house. You guys want to stop by and give your input, or you go online and do it. So or here if you want to get in there with some comments, I can report in there and keep an eye on all of people's concerns and things that we can consider this one there. Go ahead and hit the next screen there. So here's an overall location map of where the project is. You can kind of see there in the red is the location of our proposed trail. All the blue areas are existing pathways. So this project's been pretty important because it's kind of a critical link there in the path system that's currently missing. So it'll fill that gap. So it'll be nice because once that's in place, you'll be able to access everything to the east, like the hospital, the campus, Bush Park. It'll connect all that downtown area, and then folks can stay on that system, off-road system, and they can get all the way to the Riverfront Park. They can continue on out to Minto Brown Park area. They can head north and cross the Union Bridge there and have access to Walls and Rain park area. So it's gonna be a great project, I think, for the community. And it kind of fulfills that, overall regional pathway. Idea, so. We'll move on to the next one. So the project's been a long time coming. Boise Cascade, was there, or they left the area about 15 years ago. And so the city's been working on the planning processes on trying to develop something here. This project here was the Pringle Creek demolition and stream restoration project completed in 2019. You can see on the left, there's the old Boise Cascade structures, and on the right is after they removed all that, they widened the area out and regraded the stream, regraded the north bank of the Pringle path to prepare for this project. We're working on that. So go move to the next one. So we, when this during the planning process, we had to develop kind of a general concept plan of what we wanted to move ahead with, so that we could secure different funding sources and things like that. So we hired a consultant, Greenworks, to develop this for us. So the general idea is the civic center is right here. We're going to connect to that system. There's an existing pathway that goes under here and it dead ends right at this point. As part of this project, we're going to construct a suspended bridge underneath the commercial street bridge. There's an existing system here that also dead ends here. So this will be suspended underneath the bridge. We'll construct this pathway all the way up to the railroad, go under the railroad and continue on, and then connect up there to the northwest. I keep calling it the acid ball. I've been corrected. It's the eco earth wall. So that's the limits of the project. And you can see down below, there's going to be different treatments, overlooks, seat walls, wall treatments, different types of landscaping, stormwater treatment. So we'll be mentioned. And that's the 3D rendering. This is like you're standing on Commercial Street Bridge looking towards the railroad trestle there. So you can see that what those overlooks would look like. So this was kind of the general concept, and now since then we've developed more refined alternatives for you guys to take a look at. So you can go ahead and that's that. Like I mentioned, this is the general overall project schedule. We're right there in the preliminary design phase right now. The idea is we'll present these two alternatives to the community, get feedback, try to refine that and make them up with a preferred alternative. And that'll take us through the rest of the preliminary design process up to basically the 50% plans point. And that will be completed. We're targeting July 26 right now. The open house, like I mentioned, is on April 15th. It's going to be at the Pringle Creek Hall Community Center. So it'll be from 5:30 to 7:30. So we'd love to see people show up for that. Final design will continue up through May 27th, and we're looking at construction happening October 27th through December 28th. So that's the tentative schedule right now. As far as the project funding overview here, we have three primary funding sources. 3.5 million is coming from the 2022 safety and building bond. We were able to secure federal funding through the Oregon Community College Grant Program. That was $6 million. And then urban renewal is helping out with 420,000. So total combined budget of 9.9. And right now, current estimates are showing we're at 9 million. So we have about 900,000. And anybody have any questions? I'm just kind of blowing through this. But got any questions on anything? Interrupt me. Okay, so now here's the kind of the meat and potatoes of the presentation. These are the the design alternatives that I want to share with you all. It's, we have two primary options. The first one is we're calling it the angular style. And it's got the, kind of the linear angular, brakes on all the different features. It's a little more similar to what you see over at the Civic Center right now. And one of the primary differences between this and the other alternative is the location of the overlook. So in this style, we have the overlook right here. There's another smaller one up here. And you'll see, go ahead and go to the next one. Gives it the 3D rendering gives you a little bit better view of what that would look like. So you have these overlooks here. And there's seat walls here all along the path, different locations where folks can rest and look at the view. So, and this is the curvy style. So you'll see the features are a little curved, a little more similar to what you would see at Riverfront Park right now. The primary difference there is you have an overlook right here in the center. Again, there's opportunities for seat walls. Oh, I forgot to mention there's a ADA ramp that we're going to connect up here at Commercial Street. So folks in wheelchairs can get access to the site without having to go all the way back around. And it's similar on the other alternative. Is we also have a ramp.
Which one's more cost effective?
So the cost difference between the two is about $300,000. So those numbers that I showed you with the 9 million, that's with the higher price. So potentially, if now we could also, we have the two alternatives, but we could also take features. If you see something that you like in one, we could mix and match. For instance, like the overlook location of the curvy styles in the middle. The angular style is closer to the bridge. There, we could redesign it to where maybe those are in the middle. If you like the angular style, or if you like the curvy style, we could also do a curvy style with overlooks closer to the bridge. So those aren't set in stone. And we've created an online survey at that website. And you guys can go in there if you want to, and it'll take you through a series of questions like, what style do you like? Is there certain features that you think would be better on one style, or do you like overlook locations? So, there's definitely opportunities to combine the two concepts together in some way.
And I'm sorry, I may have misheard, but which one is more cost effective?
So I would say the curvy style is $300,000 more overall.
Okay, thank you.
I don't, as far as safety and lighting, I'm assuming there'll be lighting.
Yeah, so that's a good question. There's been a lot of concern about this whole area being, homeless content issues. So we're definitely planning on putting some type of pathway lighting, maybe more for security reasons. And there's on that survey, it lists all the different features on these different concepts, and you can it's asking for your top 3 concerns, like which features are most important to you, and you can write in if you have concerns about security lighting, if that's something that's important to you, you can write that in. But yeah, we're gonna have some.
Well, just for the safety and people just walking, runners,
Yeah.
walkers, what have you.
Right.
What about under Commercial Street? They might need to do Commercial Street.
Yeah, there will be.
You speak to the connection, just sure that's clear, unless you have that there in the slides.
The connection is on the south side.
So just how it connects from the existing path under, just that treatment, right here, it shows.
Yeah, on this fact sheet, it'll be something similar to Liberty Street. You guys can walk Liberty Street, you can see that's a step.
We walk that way from the city hall. East.
You can kind of end the picture on the back of this past use as a span bridge. It's something similar to that.
Yeah, I just think, just for clarification, that we spoke to it last time, just to help. Yeah, I think that might be some of the safety concerns for us lighting. Yeah, that underneath there.
Is there then access to Commercial Street other than the ramp there?
Yeah, so right now to Commercial Street, there's the existing path system where people can come up to, there's a stairway here. There's also a path that kind of branches off here and you can access it this way. And then you can go across if you wanted. You can come back around and go down.
What became of the stair that was required for the ALF? Because the egress off of the future private property development has to put an apron going on to commercial. Because there's that intersection that's too congested, which they then did not want the pedestrians that were on commercial front anywhere crossing that apron, so they had a staircase on that inside corner that transitioned from commercial straight down. And that would be your most viable path for pedestrians because they're coming from basically across that intersection.
Yeah, to meet the ADA compliance. The ramp instead of the stairwell.
So that will get all the way up to commercial.
Yeah, so
Not just to the grade of the, because there's about 6 feet of grade difference between finished grade and commercial street.
yeah, could you go to the next slide? Rendering might give us a bit of, it's kind of hard to see, I guess, but yeah. So, and this isn't totally fleshed out what that would look like. Actually, can you go to the first alternative? It has, it could be something like this. This isn't showing what it should, yeah, this would be at the same grade.
As long as it got to the sidewalk.
Yeah, this is good, so everybody could come off off Commercial Street, right onto this, and then take that ramp down. And that apron that you're talking about is further to, so.
Yeah, it's the reference to the opposite side, so it does have that staircase, so you can take the ADA ramp. Where it dead ends right now, where you continue through. And that's kind of what they're speaking to, because there's a lot of discussion about mirroring. But instead of having the stairs and forcing people to go all the way around the ADA ramp, now they're looking at just having the ramp down, so it would be a sidewalk grade.
Yeah, because with a stairwell, we'd have to force them up to Trade Street. They'd have to cross the, so. They'd have to cross Trade Street. On the north side of it, come back around, come back south. If that was just an path system, so. We didn't feel it was fair to somebody was in a wheelchair. So expecting them to go around. So, like I said, the original concept did show that stairway we're talking about. Like that.
Okay. So yeah, there's an earlier slide that gets into that, but
Yeah, but we know that the railroad is going to require to get under the railroad. They're going to require some type of structure, basically to reduce liability if something falls off the railroad and protects folks underneath. So, we've kicked around a few concepts. This one is the curvilinear option. You can kind of see these arches. That's not totally fleshed out at this point. We just, trying to come up with some type of architecture that matches this curvy style. If you go back to we're showing a more of a rectangular type. Again, those aren't totally fleshed out. So folks have ideas. Trying to incorporate some. And so the idea is we'll figure out this preferred alternative, and then we'll probably go through more detailed design, and we'll have more of those. So like I said, there's the website, we're making a lot of efforts trying to get information out on that. Survey. Basically now. 15th. Currently, and try to at least have some type of preferred alternative. And then once the preferred alternative is chosen, then I'll put all that information out onto the website and try to send a link out. Different media, Facebook, X, and next door, all the stuff that I don't use, but I'm a Facebook guy, I'm that generation of users, but trying to get all those different media, and then we have the Salem connection newsletter, sending notifications out with, and there's also an opportunity on the website if folks want notifications. You can click that link, leave your email, and that information will get back to me. I want to go to interested people, send things out to you that they.
Is that artistic, like architecture?
What is that? Yeah, that's another, the wall treatments, we haven't got it, we just know there's not retaining wall treatments. And we have a lot of this space now that we're doing this event that potentially we could put something on the face of that. So that's one area of outreach we're gonna have to pursue probably after the open house. Try to figure out what kind of wall treatments they want to do.
Just clarification, I mean, it sounds like the budget's already kind of set. So in the event that the survey, involves, the majority saying, hey, we want to change this up. Is that the 10% contingency?
Yeah, we'll have to look at the budget set. So I feel pretty confident that it's a pretty solid budget as far as if there is room for some changes in that. If it goes beyond that, it'd have to be pretty significant, pretty extreme.
Right.
To keep any changes in this one, because we've done a lot of analysis to see what's available. We have some constraints with this. So, but yeah, I mean, if there's something is really pushing, we'll definitely consider it.
What happens if it's not within the budget?
It's not, well, we'll have to have some conversations to see if it's really something, depending on what that is.
Right.
It's something we have a problem, something about it. So funding sources, and that's the challenge. Also, projects. So, funding sources need some other project need that probably this time.
We're not out right now, so food trucks. That's a great idea.
Food trucks on
Maybe a
that.
coffee cart. Hot dog stand.
Yeah, there's not.
All that space.
So. But. Something, so the problem notice that the timing will be right. Where you have, happening there, and you have some services for which is that possible too. Survey of, are you able to see results right away, or are you waiting for it to get through? Just curious to see what's,
Like the person see results. Or-
yeah, I'm not sure if you're tracking it.
They told me that, they asked me if I wanted to get daily input on it, and I just said,
Sweet.
let me know, so if it's all done, and I'll go from there with them. Otherwise, I'll never get work. So, okay, give it to me all one time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so, the property that north is a urban agency, we bought that, so I think from the correction from the agency, we acquired it through a process to select a developer. So right now we're going through due diligence with them. So they're pushing out designs, they put a concept together, either with 5 other developers, they got selected. So the agency intervention of memorandum of understanding of that group, so that would go through, yeah, we're doing some site analysis and loan disposition agreement preparations and formulated the financial stack investors are ultimately what the design. So it'll be a mixed use, so they'll have apartments, ground floor. They propose 2 separate buildings. The west facing building, you know, be mostly housing, and then they have some ground floor on the Creek side, and big commercial retail, and they propose entertainment garden, because you can see everything up there. So that's still in the plan. Other building to the east, again, would be housing, that have more commercial retail on Commercial Street, and that's perhaps room to have connection. So I think there's opportunity to really deal with, since as people engage the path on Commercial Street, there's an opportunity to congregate services that are there. Just take the views, access the path. So, yeah.
Has there been any feedback from folks that are doing block 45 on this project, or and has there been any feedback from thinking about security in the police department? Are they having any suggestions that they can involve?
On the block 45 side, in their concepts, they had a couple of links going down, like staircases, but this is, again, treated like a significant entry as you take the ramp from just like the sidewalk, grade level down. I think it'd be difficult to have, obviously speak to it more, but if you had worked your way west and they desired multiple, say, staircases down, I think that could be difficult given the approach. So I think it would be working with the design team to encourage not wanting too far, down to Commercial Street and take it down. So we'll see how it gets worked out. They want to do what they can to engage the path.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I remember the stairways.
Yeah.
Originally.
They haven't seen, sure, as they track this now. We haven't had meetings since this. As far as the way, I think it's great. It's a nice one. So we'll see how they provide their feedback and good. I think hopefully the ramp approach will solve the need. additional stairs.
Right. So I was thinking, our last meeting, the construction was starting like right now, but site
This
says
time.
it'll be the 2028.
Yeah, it's been,
And I was like, whoa, that's fast.
it wasn't, really, it actually has it out further. But we're trying to get it as soon as possible, so. And then the website, see that. Changes.
Right. As far as the April public meeting. What is that? I know it's virtual too, but if you wanted to attend in person. If you wanted to attend in person, is there a physical?
Yeah, yeah, it's a Pringle Hall, community center, it was called, it's on the church. It's all the best that we do. The top of the board and stuff. Sure.
It's Church Street Southeast.
Not there, you contemplate that.
It's on the project, so we are. We'll start with, grant consideration, so we're in discussions right now, with a couple of projects, one, lawyer, so it's lawyers. Near, on that side, there's Pico North, from there, there's a vacant site. Those, like, it's just, like, for ground floor, commercial retail and housing. Be the first in the Salem, for stories, so, yeah.
This is right behind the big greenhouse.
I can see. It's around here, that's, I think it's on the west side of, the lot I'm talking about is on the west side, yeah, it's between those stones. Yeah, the auto.
Oh, okay.
That green. Or this green spot last, yeah. That's the one I was,
So where's Victor and Rico's information?
just one lot.
I think that, yeah, that's good. Sorry, it was been a while since I've been out there. I know it's on lawyer, but I wasn't sure it was this one.
No, in the past, when developers were looking at, there was issues with the flood. That still,
They're going through permitting now, so. Let's see.
Street improvements on there too. Nice.
Yeah, that was house street improvements.
right? Just throw some bats down. Come all the way through. Sorry, go back
To the gutters and didn't get up. Parking.
the backing where her house is, but I don't know if we further,
And then redefine it once. So it's-
Okay.
Yeah.
When was the last time?
oh, wow.
They did one. Short.
Much as talking about it on your statement site, as you recall, the last two meetings, on chance properties are used to. We discussed that some process. So directly across from, it's now an alley and improved with the development. So that's going through. So that's intended to be food trucks with building that's. This is similar to other locations we have.
What's right?
It's a.
Yeah, next to
It's a bug
It's not.
I gotta rework that in. No, when I say it looks pretty. Initially, when they were going through the process, the building orientation was predominantly along Burlard and typically on Second Street, so they were through the or something that justify the orientation of the building or the use. Understand it much through the process. So hopefully we'll start to see activity. For your John's neck of the woods.
Yes, that's my backyard.
Yeah.
Especially paradox that we were talking to. So,
Yeah. Right, so when I went by, I was like. Jen was talking about like, how deep are those pipes, jeez.
But lots of solar, so.
Yeah.
And the way the existing conditions of First Street too, would be nice to get in. It's just. Then next week, obviously, I've heard ideas, but I haven't really seen anything. I've seen a few different kind of concepts. But it's still between various prospective buyers and concepts, I guess. As far as our path connection, so this is a reminder, this is the path that goes, follows the bridge in Salem. Underneath the exit in the West Salem, would be planning connected to cross Grave, go through these properties. So we're doing design work to how to get the design to the point where we can do survey, we'll be able to engage these neighboring private property owners to say, like to purchase, set up an access easement. So at that point, we understand exactly how much space we're looking on both sides.
Sure, that's the solution.
So that's through here. So connect from this already exists here, so across Musgrave and trying to find a path through here that balances both sides. So far, the property owner to the west is a little more supportive, so we'll try to keep it as close to that side as possible. But it has its own great challenges. We did preliminary engineering considerations to look at how that would be routed. So we do have an idea it should work, and that's what we use to engage these property owners to have a discussion to see willingness to work with this. So it's got to a point now where you need to have the specifics to say when you identify X amount of acres of easement from for this use. And then eventually with that, we'll connect through here to the street. So it's basically a connector to Edgewater Parkway Street. should safe crossing on Edgewater, the flashing. We're looking at an area. So, works is updated, curb fence here, so it's pretty much set up, or it's just a matter of now we're configuring operations to see and transportation engineers on placement, what type of, probably looking at a solar power type of flashing. So we're still working through how that would work, location, and the type of. To Osborne Park. But while I've been out there. It's safe. We've been talking to the property owner. That I mentioned where the path is going through. During COVID is when they had some camping was allowed, they were having some restrictions, so that's something we're addressing is how we keep people looking through and not. They do have a path access to the property line. I will ensure that it's not camped on, they'll have activity. So, yeah, it's just a matter of getting to a point of having a project that's going through and then educating the public that hopefully we actually have it engaged enough. For the most part, what we've seen is what I've experienced is take the ramp down to Boston Park. So it's that section to Moss Road. That's this section. When I used to want to, I don't facilitate that, but have more of the house and interaction on that side because there's less activity. So with this connection, we'll increase the activity. Because we have a lot of that too. We're going to have to provide the shelter. Similar to experience here on this side. It takes a while for them to sit down. So it takes a while for them to get through and with that we're see what's
We discussed kind of a right in, right out, we were gonna go like talk about which law. Is there any way to make that recommendation? City is gonna go with other word. I saw another accident.
Yeah.
The other day, just because they're
It's screwballs and
when the lights, yeah,
that's tough.
Oh, they're coming out, then they want to get them.
they want to go, yeah, they want to go.
I understand why, sure, move over and grab the light is kind of a safe approach. When I approached that earlier with Public Works, there's probably more to it than meets the eye in terms of the regulations of Public Works. Say, we're able to do it in that cross access easements. Say on that, Chris, that. Yeah, so you end up with playing casters, so shot that. You got a neighbor in every 10 feet, you got shotgun and then major artillery. Some other jurisdictions have taken a more dictatorial approach and forced you into shared access easements. I don't have the answer, I don't know why the difference is, but it certainly you end up with things like that we have in this community that traffic patterns get really heavy. It's
what is the line of sight when the person's coming over the train track.
Where you got your
Yeah, pedestrians.
shotgun runs across
Yeah,
Second Street to the bridge.
You're talking, just right in, right out, you already see the stack left.
Yeah.
I would say anytime we propose anything on the side, we'll let you push wall and like, no. So I don't know how receptive.
Well, they're under that part.
Yeah.
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 But again, but an accident happens there. Yeah, some guy clipped it in there. And then traffic just, that's the whole thing, so it's. See the flash ball guys, they use the light, they obviously know better, so. I don't know why they'd be opposed to it. Yeah, always go down to the light.
Well, they're going to Taggart or to.
So there's, I guess it actually is. I don't know if it's an easement or a street that goes.
Yeah, you can cut through here.
And is that?
Yeah, it is a street. It's not really a walk.
Yeah.
It's not, I think that's a street, but is it?
Right.
Yeah,
It's a street. It just seems like parking.
yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
I was surprised when I first moved here. I moved here from the middle and I don't know, when I was frequenting over here, I was like, it's weird, like next, yeah, Taggart and.
It does. I can't remember. It's the name of the apartment.
Falls Park.
Yes.
Must be like, I haven't tried, so this must give them access, yeah. It says. Oh, that's fun there. Something we wanted to with that have connection. There's the Center Street side of it. We'll have out to updates in July. On that project. So we've been talking to them. This will be some coordination as far as treatment of the exit ramp, updating it so it has improved lighting, the fencing and things through there. It's just so it'd be nice to get it refreshed. But then putting in the fencing like in Market Street, even here on this side of the bridge. To working towards the parts in the north here, they have some fencing on that side, so it'd be nice to see we'll put some additional fencing. Yeah, yeah, right. Like that. So I'm gonna save that for, we'll have a project update, so we'll speak to River Front downtown. On Gateway, Creek, so that's okay. Say that. I guess, what are you talking about, the activity, that's already?
Just right,
Oh, block 50. Yeah, I'll say that.
because it's a dusty, it's just.
It's not a done deal, so it's similar to block 45 where we have, we're working through some environmental things right now. So have to do monitoring and make sure that, so there used to be a gas station right before the hospital machine was there. So that's important, so we're trying to track and see what's needed to mitigate it to what extent for like housing units. So, yeah, we're going through the Department of Quality process right now to set up monitoring wells. Yeah, I never go back. So,
No, we have old maps, the old insurance.
Not we.
Really are.
Yeah, we'll have more. I should share this.
List. Information on those type of organizations.
April 23rd, I'm having, payroll candidates as well as Salem City Council Board 8, so I think you are able to do that. So that's kind of exciting. Regular location, then, is anyone attending West Salem Neighborhood Association? Those are still happening. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some really great information that. Yeah, April 23rd, and if you are not a member of West End Business Association, that is okay. I can put you on the email distribution list, so you're getting those notifications.
So, and it's 6:30. City reports. It's probably city councilors. It's the outside.
Same. And this will be the push to that. So if you want to be involved in any meeting, has to be for something. So what's
What or when?
Yes.
See ideas with you.
Yeah. Bigger and
Have
better.
big ideas that you can have. Okay, right.
They'll be out in Salem.
So updates on the areas, so like I said, we'll have projects working with Gateway Creek. The Gilchrist too. A lot of activity to around the street. Yeah, a lot of the construction. Thank you for your patience, this was really good.
I just wanted to add, at the last West Salem Neighborhood Association meeting, but contractor, the architect, whatever, introduced the discussion of what to do with the property to the west of the high school, True Heights. All those acres there, and so they're trying to decide what they want to do in terms of housing and use and other things. So they were just kind of introducing, but they were talking about things up there. If I could get the number of units for that. I have
To the
a plan.
west of the high school or to the east on the corner there?
Off of Orchard, between Orchard Heights and, so it's to the west, it's that area,
Or down by?
let's see, it's across from the park. Grace Hill, you know, that area.
Oh, sorry. So past the neighborhood, west of that.
Yes,
West of the
just to the
neighborhood,
west of the neighborhood, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
See, there's Settle Spring Road,
Yes.
I see that.
all that area in there. Yeah,
I thought that they're just putting
All 6,000 square feet.
right?
Yeah.
Are you talking this area? That's the high school, right?
So that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So go off to the, yes, that area right there.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big area.
And it's, yeah, it was a private house, but they're the ones who developed the neighborhood behind the house, high school, they're on that. That's why Tom bought the extra 5 acres we made this house, David, so he could protect the houses. So it goes all the way, pretty much backs up against the houses that are on 37.
Okay.
Where that curve is, it goes out to the.
I think the pump station has already been upgraded. Yeah, that was 15 years ago, because if you move any further than that to the west, you have to do a reservoir. And that is $10 million, maybe 20, I don't know what it is. But the pump station serves that wine truck. I don't know if wine's is going past, so it's having.
If it's have it, it's my understanding.
Yeah, they're trying to decide what they want to do, but it's why the property goes all the way down.
It's huge.
It's a huge piece of property, and I was asking, is there some way?
I've seen.
I said, can you connect to Glen Creek or something so people have another way to get out of there besides Orchard Heights? And they said they're looking at some more property acquisition. I mean, things, they're just talking about stuff, and I'm actually meeting with the architect, whatever, the designer tomorrow. I just to kind of find out, just some of the plans and some of the preliminary things that they're thinking about. But I just wanted to throw it out there so
So they're,
more.
you said they're looking at mixed use, so.
There's one little corner that's zoned mixed
really?
use up by the, closer to the high school. You'd have to
Right.
with the zoning map, because we're thinking, well, also. They're talking about a number of different things, but it'd be great to have a little coffee shop or, you know, just something up in that area.
I was thinking the corner of Oaks and Orchard Heights,
Yeah.
because that's that really awkward access residence that's down in there. So like, and it's isolated by the type of building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, it's a decent haul for the number of people, bodies that are out there now.
Are they gonna have to do something with the Fresh College to accommodate all those departments?
The ones at Rush College that are going in.
Well, the ones that are on the thoroughfare on between Orchard Heights and Wall, so just north of you go. Right there.
Yeah, the stuff, landing yards there,
Yeah.
it's all tight, you know.
Oh, the Titan Hill
That's
stuff.
460
Yeah.
units.
Yeah,
Where the wall is.
so the,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the east,
That's gonna be 1,000 bodies hitting roads.
Oh, I
right,
know.
Yeah.
Monsters.
right in the center there, so, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they accommodate.
But the front corner, which would be the northwest corner right there, is a separate lot.
Yes, it is.
The one house right in the center. In case they're not.
It's kind of the mirror image.
No, you're not gonna sell them.
Yeah. That is quite a statement, isn't it? But you got the same thing on the opposite corner, it's the southwest. That is already zoned,
Yes, for the ministries or whatever.
which makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
ultimately. Man, it's
Yeah. Just a lot of lots. I don't know, we didn't know there was gonna be a bunch of them up there. Out besides Wallace.
Oh.
yeah.
We do, we need regionals. Yes, we need another river crossing, very, very much so.
Take that
One
to
that
the
doesn't
neighborhood
close Rosemont, because then
associations.
we're really in trouble.
Cause it is, it's a disaster, you know, with that much more vehicles. It's gonna just be that much slower and that much.
Oh, yeah.
Are we done? Yeah, we say like 3 o'clock.
It's also the independence and downs and everything.
Responders, first responders in the river. Take the around. All.
They actually somehow got a police car to block traffic on Wallace heading south in order to bring emergency vehicles in the opposite direction. Across. Yeah, it's sometimes. It's not fun to transit. But
Yeah, that's for sure. So what do you think of, one of the things I'm thinking of even as a temporary measure? Will be a challenge, but putting a traffic signal at Dover's Ferry and 22 as an alternative way to access 22 from up there.
Well, they've got that whole reroute of Dove's, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's coming down the road, but we need something that's more immediate. And I'm just trying to think of another way for folks to get on 22 instead of Wallace, even though it's kind of around.
It's not, that's Dover's 22 intersection is very, it's.
Well, it is,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
go,
You
I
don't
mean,
know.
they're driving fast, that's what I mean, like a traffic signal where, I mean,
As people are west and turning onto Duxbury to go up,
Yes.
I go straight and I slow down because I don't know.
oh, yeah, it's dangerous, I think there should be a signal there, when people are going too fast, I mean,
I say you give it a shot. Or-
well, ODOT doesn't like to put
It probably won't happen.
signal lights on stage.
I don't wanna.
I will try, but you know, that we're getting on.
But I like the other.
It's a lot better when it's just a right in, right out. It used to be a left, that's what it's.
Oh, yeah, but now that they've done that, I mean, there are advantages to the left, but if you had a safe left.
Doesn't there have to be, in order for the developer to build new homes, all right now, doesn't there have to be a study as
Yes.
far as
Oh, yeah.
how much that passing with the bridge and Justin?
I have no idea, because they did exactly the same in Medford, by having, they locked up all the development 5-7 years. Because there was too much traffic and it backed up traffic patterns onto the highway on 5 in that instance, and greater than highway being 602. And so they locked up all that development at the time, it was the big wide, you know, it's all changed dramatically. But their traffic study and their limitations was all developed until they resolved that intersection. And I'm surprised they're not doing it with 22, it's all word that was downtown, so let's say. It's not gonna get better with all this, because you got nowhere to go.
Oh, I agree with those traffic studies, they do, it's my understanding, it's the direct impact just in that very area development rather than, say, on the bridge.
Like a 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
I see.
And so you don't get the cumulative effects from multiple.
That's why there's no development that's going to take on the road improvement right beyond the edge of this type of hill. Yeah, and it's, looks like, you know, something out of battle.
Yeah. I can't believe.
Yeah, their trucks they've had in there, the holes are up to Egypt. But, yeah, it's, and there's no sidewalks, there's no safety for head for height, you know.
See that sidewalk that they put over by the schools and doing some very much. They cut down the streets. They're actually gonna develop like 13 into lots of.
You're saying that there's no sidewalk that's gonna go from the entry of this new development that goes very up to Orchard Heights.
Well, there is. You have the sidewalk improvements along there.
Are they extending?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
gonna go all the way,
it's about-
well, it's gonna go all the way from Orchard Heights down to Emerald Drive or whatever, where the city's redoing the sidewalk stuff. So there's that, and then they're putting the sidewalk up the other Orchard Heights and putting in the pedestrian crossing between approximately where Linwood is, but over to the high school, you know. Pedestrian crossing, so they're doing that, they have to
Or
put
are
in
they
speed.
going north? Off of the type of hill?
I'm trying to think if it's all the
Because
way,
that's
all the way up
that's
Emerald
the
Drive,
thing
it may,
that is.
I'm just trying to think, because you're right, there are a couple of the driveways there, but the city's doing. I have to look at the plan.
Too far.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know, you know, it's the improvement. And it's a separate. That has that. That was what he said. It's not a major.
It's not on their plans, that's the property, it's not like.
It's the other.
Yeah,
So like, I'll give it a ask the question, like, why didn't you have for the conversation with the village supervisor? Let's get that going. What's
We
the house,
spoke that.
what's that?
Well, as I said, it's a regional issue. In 23, I went down and testified for Representative Evans' House Bill 7, anyway, exactly. Which was to create the structure for a bridge district, a taxing bridge district, and it would be Benton, Marion, Polk, and Yamhill. Okay, so he tried to, it didn't make it to the floor. Hopefully, I'd like to see it come up again so that we can start that conversation. Because it's a regional issue. A lot of people use our bridges to go to the coast and everything. But he said that there has to be establishment of an actual district to kind of start that process. And so I hope that he brings that forward again.
That's a terrific, I mean, whatever it takes to get it. You know, it may not happen in a decade or 2 decades, but it's gotta happen.
It's gotta happen, I agree.
What did you call that district?
The bridge district?
Just the bit, okay, simple enough.
Yeah, in fact. Oh, I sent my testimony to someone that was. Actually get the number on it. Oh. 2023, House Bill 2781. House Bill 2781, sponsored Rep. Evans, authorizes formation of a bridge district in Capital City region consisting of Benton, Marion, Polk, and Yamhill counties. Authorizes, it goes on about. Anyway, just establishment of it.
Students try to get a bridge in place for you.
Or the boards and commission, I know, I think it's people this in at the end, but at one point, I think you had a recommendation for the boards and commissions for who makes up the composition of the board, and you had some recommendations, and they discussed them at the last meeting a couple of weeks ago or whatever, and there's only a slight change to what you submitted. Just wanted to let you know, I mean, I could read it off or something, but I was watching the meeting about midnight a few nights ago, and I went, Oh, West Salem Redevelopment Advisory Board, okay, I took a couple screenshots, but basically it's the same as what you did, except they combined two of them into the industrial representative.
So request of your.
Well, thank you. Trying to stay up with some things, because you have questions about what's going on, you know?
Cheers.
Oh, for the grant. Yeah, so the grant is to, like your recommendation, that the city supported, Ty spoke to it, well, we spoke to it, I think last week. Yeah, I was doing what we could to promote it, so I think there's even another article that's getting green based on how the grant works and it's. Recommendation. And shepherd through to.
Next, one more question. In regards to cover areas downtown, the parking that parking spaces. I heard that those are starting to go away.
Oh, yes.
Is that amazing?
So we have grants that pay for those. We're looking at who wants to keep them and what it would cost going forward, but that would be a whole process. I'll try to pull some information for our next meeting tonight to the. There is conversation, because there's making sure that it's being utilized, it works for everybody, and it's the fair and balance where other people want to have. And what that impact might have on students and working, what costs it could be. Most of those were set up around COVID to facilitate that, so now that we're past that.
Questions?